Your credit score can make or break your quality of life. The difference between 500 or 850 can impact your ability to borrow money, land a job, lease a car, or buy a house. It's crazy to think this set of 3-digit numbers can divide Americans into 2 categories, worthy and unworthy. Access to affordable credit isn't a given for over 100 million people in this country. Over 60 million people have credit scores below 700. Founded in 2016 in San Francisco, Empower is a startup we funded that's on a mission to help everyday Americans access credit and build positive credit history, and they're doing it without considering credit scores or requiring security deposits. We're lucky enough to be early investors in this company, led by former Sequoia investor Warren Hogarth. Let's get started. Have you ever wondered why the vast majority of people around the world don't have access to credit?
If you take the US population is about 250 million consumers, and 100 million people lack access to credit. Well, we've shown that we can underwrite about 50% of people who don't have access today. So that would basically elevates another 50 million people into the financial system and then gives them a way to also build their credit score, which then is really important not just for accessing credit, but it's for your ability to rent, your ability to get car insurance in a number of states, and in many states it's still part of your job application. So I think we're still in the very early innings of really democratizing access to fair credit.
The credit score was first introduced in the US in 1989 by a company that was then called Fair Isaac and Company, aka FICO. It was created as a way for lenders to gauge your credit risk. Basically, how likely are you to pay your bills on time and decide whether or not to give you credit and what the terms will be, including the interest rate you'll pay to borrow money. You may have heard of the 3 main national credit bureaus in the US, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. The problem with the system is millions of Americans are either credit invisible or unscorable.
There's about 45 million people in the country that are credit invisible or unscored. And then on top of that, about 34% of people have found errors on their credit report. And so you've got to remember that this credit report isn't just used for lending. It's used for determining whether you can rent somewhere. It's used for determining your ability to get car insurance, or even in job applications in many states still in the country. So one of the most important reports that we have with millions of people don't have a report, and a third of us have errors on our report.
We all know credit scores range from 300 to 850. The higher your score, the more likely you are to enjoy access to credit in greater amounts and at a lower cost. But credit scores influence a lot more than the loans you can get and the interest rates you pay.
If we look at the people that we're impacting today, it's disproportionately minorities, people of color, and actually over 60% of the people who use Empower or get access today are women. These are all people who are being shut out of the system. And they're using it for really important things to make life work. We have customers reach out to us about how, it's Friday, something happened, like the paycheck didn't come when they were expecting it. They're at the gas station, they don't have money to put fuel in the car, or you're at the supermarket aisle to check out. You've got your kid in the trolley and you can't, pay for that food right there and then. So the ability for someone to believe in you and be willing to provide you access and do that instantly so that you can, make life work and you don't experience that hardship is sort of one of the key value propositions of what we provide.
And if the stakes weren't high enough already, the credit system is limited in its coverage, and credit reports aren't always accurate, making it hard for many people to get access to affordable credit or any credit at all.
Providing access to credit is critical because it provides social mobility. If you're in a developing economy, you need money to make money effectively. You need it for your ability to get education, your ability to buy fertilizer or a computer or get your store going. And so it is vital to creating social mobility and prosperity. We're at this unique point in time in history where, in most of the world, there is no credit score. But the good thing is we're not going to need it. We can score people based on their banking data, their payroll data, and most people now also a digital wallet. If you're a Gojek driver in Indonesia or an Uber driver somewhere, you're now getting paid, doesn't even have to be a bank account, into a digital wallet. And that income and how you use that money can form the basis of a credit score and a way for you to access capital and then create that that social mobility, which is critical.
And that's what Empower's doing.
Yes, we are solving access to credit.
We're excited about Empower because it proves that software has the ability to change the trajectory of your financial future and financial freedom in real time. What's really special about Empower is they effectively bootstrap people into having credit and building credit just by using the data provided by a digital wallet to make an instant decision on whether you can get access to credit. Warren was actually inspired to start this company because of what happened to his parents during the 2008 global financial crisis.
My parents were relying on financial advisors for their retirement and to save. They'd worked very, very hard through their lives to get ahead. The global financial crisis came along and wiped out over 50% of their net worth overnight. And that was one of those moments for me that they'd gotten really bad advice. And now I'm sitting in Silicon Valley and it's like software should have been able to solve this problem. Everyone should be able to get access to good advice, good financial advice and information to make the right decisions. And it really hit home for me in that period where overnight something like that could happen to them and can happen to anybody.
We were believers in Empower's mission from the beginning, and we're proud to be an early investor today. They've got it all. Rich insights, machine learning through alternative underwriting, and universal payment rails. Empower can better assess an individual's true financial responsibility, meaning more people will have a fair shot at obtaining good credit.
At Empower, our mission is really to solve access to credit, to provide that social mobility for folks. We've done that here in the US. We've proven that we can provide access to credit to about 50% of the 100 million people who lack fair access today. And now we're focused on taking that internationally. How do we underwrite the next billion people? And we can do that because we've shown that we can underwrite in real time based on these new banking and data sources. And we've now got the financial rails to be able to instantly provide people access to credit.